What's up, Bulldogs? All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about women using sex as a weapon, weaponized sex. All right, this is something that a lot of guys have asked me about. I've encountered a lot in coaching guys, seeing this being used against them. And so I want to give you some strategies to first identify when sex is being used as a weapon, and then second, how to counter that, what you should respond when this is happening to you. And it will happen to you. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, and how to get the girls you want. Click that subscribe button to join us. If that sounds like something you are interested in, click the bell to get notifications because YouTube does hide these videos. Click the like button if you wouldn't mind to spread this message far and wide. I appreciate that. That's how you can show your support for this channel and the videos I'm making. And it only takes you a second. It doesn't cost you anything. And then also there is a link in the cards up here for the Bulldog quiz. That is for you. That will tell you what your Bulldog score is from 0 to 100 and let you know if you're a Bulldog or not. All right, so we're going to jump right into this DM that I got here. Let me bring this up. And he says here, okay, we'll skip to the interesting part. He says, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, a girl, and she was saying how she was going to stop having sex with her boyfriend until he fully commits, getting engaged. Now, personally, I have nothing wrong with a full commitment. I myself am a big believer in not just randomly hooking up. But my question is, even if you are in a committed relationship, when the girl uses sex as a weapon to get what she wants, what do you do as a guy? He says, my thought process here is just to not be fazed by this threat, just to continue along the path as a man, listen to what the girl is saying, but not be pushed or forced into doing something just for sex. I feel like it's good to listen to understand her side, but you don't have to give in to her desires just for sex. Again, what's your thoughts on this? Okay, so a lot of you guys can probably guess what my thoughts generally are going to be on this, but let me tell you, first of all, what this guy should do in this situation. All right, in this situation, his fiance is like, hey, you know, Jake, I'm not going to have sex with you again unless you give me a ring, unless you propose and we get engaged. Then Jake should say, okay, I'm glad you told me that, because goodbye. You're gone. You're done. The audition is over, and I'm sorry, someone else will get the part. You have to be that adamant about not allowing a woman to use sex as a weapon against you. Imagine what happens if he gives into that. Imagine what the rest of that relationship will be and how she will continue to use sex against him as a weapon for the rest of his life. In fact, as a man, you might ask yourself the question, if you are with a woman who does not want to have sex with you, is that a good thing at all, right? Do you want to be in that relationship? Your standards as a man should be that you are not in a relationship or seeing a girl that does not want you as bad as you want her. If she doesn't want you, if she doesn't want to have sex with you, right? Which, if a woman is using sex as a weapon against you, that means that she's assessing, correctly so, that your desire to have sex with her is much greater than her desire to have sex with you. You need to flip the script, guys. You need to be in the situation where the women that you are with want to have sex with you more than you want to have sex with them. Now, that's not going to initially happen, but it should shift in that direction, right? If you meet a girl and you have passed the shit tests and you have evaluated that she's a quality girl that you want to spend some time with and things are going well, maybe, you know, women are initially the gatekeepers of sex. Men are the gatekeepers of relationship. So at some point, though, it should flip where she's now pursuing you. She's now wanting to have sex with you. And if she tries to change that dynamic, then hey, then you've just got an important message, right? If a woman in this particular situation, right, being engaged here, is telling you, hey, my desire for sex is not as great as yours, so I'm going to use it as a weapon against you. I'm going to penalize you. You cannot reward that. You have to basically dismiss her and say that that's it. It's done. Because do you really want to be in a long-term relationship with a woman who would do that, and one who has a lower level of desire for you? Now, it's a hard truth to face, but you're not turning that around. Okay, if she's already there at the engagement point, what do you think is going to happen a year or 2 years into marriage? You think that she's going to suddenly want to have sex with you again? No, it's not going to happen. Will she have sex with you? Of course. Is she going to want to? Probably not. So really important to consider that. That's why I would be very, very harsh in this case. And I would tell him to say, yeah, all right, you're gone, right? The engagement's off. You're gone. Don't get upset. Don't get angry about it. Okay. Just take that as important information. She just gave you a really important piece of information. She just told you that her interest in having sex with you is not so high. So you should use that information to your advantage and realize that you just dodged a bullet, because if you would have gotten engaged to her, how would that have worked out? Okay. Now, a lot of you guys, you make the mistake because you're like, well, I can't live without this. Well, if you can't live without it, you're going to. And that's how it is with anything in life. Anything in life that you say, I can't live without, you're most likely going to have to, because ironically, most of the things that we want in life, the neediness of wanting them causes us to lose them. And especially in relationships, especially with sex, especially with women, there's no woman that you can't live without. There's no sex that you can't live without. You can live without it, and you must, because you must have standards as a man. And if you think about it, why would a woman be attracted to a guy that she could manipulate and that she could twist around her finger by dangling sex in front of him, right? Think about the guys, right? We talk about, the stupid word I don't like of simps. We talk about simps all the time today. It's such a common word. Everyone's calling each other simps. What does it mean to be a simp, right? To be simplicating, right? To basically be a person, a man who is adoring a woman for her beauty or whatever it is, and not having self-respect, right? To be a simp is to want something, right? To be so needy that you're willing to give out validation and praise and all this stuff with getting nothing in return, even though you want something in return, right? See, to be a high value, guys, to just give out whatever, you don't care. Like you give out praise to people, you give compliments to people, you don't care because you don't want anything in return. You don't need anything in return. You got plenty of stuff, okay? But to be a simp, right, is to want something in return. So what kind of woman would be attracted to a guy that she sees as a simp, right? You're simping for sex if you're basically going to meet those demands, okay? So let's talk about what this gentleman said here. By the way, if you want to ask me questions on Instagram, follow me at Bulldog Mindset, and if you DM me, I usually respond with a video response, okay, when I have time. But go check it out. So he says here, my thought process here is to not be fazed by this threat. Just continue along the path as a man, listen to what the girl's saying, but not be pushed or forced into doing something just for sex. And he's right on here, right? So in other contexts, right, like, it depends, right? You can act, really, really harsh with this, right? You could, as soon as you detect that a woman is trying to, use sex against you as a weapon, you can respond by basically showing her the door, right? Now, I would say that that's not always the best response, okay? It depends on how explicit it is, right? If a woman explicitly tells you, hey, you need to do this for me, otherwise you're not getting sex, the door is the appropriate response there. Okay, because you've explicitly made this clear, so I'm going to explicitly make this clear, which is that's not something I'm going to tolerate. No thanks, but no thanks. See you later, right? You have to be that clear. Now, if it's more subtle, okay, which it is more often, is more subtle. It's like implied, like, oh, I would feel more in the mood if you did the dishes. Those dishes need to stay in the sink. Okay, that's where the conversation ends. That's where you show some really disapproval. You say, really, you're going to use sex as a weapon. Call it out. Whatever it is, your response has to be just continue on your path and not allow that to faze you. You cannot respond to that threat at all, right? You absolutely cannot. If you respond to the threat in any way, in the sense that like you give in or you try to negotiate or you try to argue it, you lose. Okay, so don't even argue it. Don't even be like, wow, you're using sex as a weapon. And then she responds and then you say, I don't like that. Whatever. And no, you don't engage with that. You call it out, right? And you say that you don't tolerate that. And that's it. That's all you have to say about that. And then you don't give in. And then you don't do anything. And then you just continue on your life. Don't try to penalize. Don't try to do anything. Or you show her the door, right? If she's doing it explicitly, if you feel like this is a pattern of behavior, if you feel like she's not even worth it, that who the fuck are you to, hey, see, I was trying to not curse in this video, but I mean, I am saying sex a lot, but if she's not even of value that it matters, that you're like, who are you to try and even do this, then just show her the door, right? You have to be willing to walk away, right? If you guys are so caught up on the sex thing that you can't walk away, you're going to give up all your power, right? So again, like I said, now women don't do this maliciously, not necessarily. Like they're doing it because it's their power, right? Women have in a relationship as initially the power of sex, right? They're the guardians of sex, the gatekeepers. Men are the gatekeepers of commitment, okay, of the relationship itself. And so, like I said, women want to get commitment from men. Men want to get sex from women in general, okay? This is generally how it applies. I know some of you nice guys, you just want someone to a shoulder to cry on and a girl to hug you and some validation. That's different. Once you get that, then you want sex, all right? So that's generally how it is. So they're going to use this weapon, of course, and you have to not allow yourself to be used. Okay, you cannot respond to this at all. Again, a lot of you guys that are in kind of long-term relationships, like I said, I have a lot of guys that I coach where they're talking about how their wife doesn't have sex with them anymore. And I'm going to recommend you a really good book. It's called No More Mr. Nice Guys by Dr. Daniel Glover. I had him on the channel before. Really awesome guy. Really great advice in that book. I highly recommend it. It's up in the cards here. By the way, while you're checking things out, click down below. Check out the Bulldog Mindset membership. $7 for the first month. I am going to be raising the price here. I know I keep on saying that, but I am after the new year. I've got a bunch of things on my plate. But if you want to get in for the grandfather price, go check it out. Ton of videos on social dynamics, relationships, a lot of stuff that I can't talk about here. Building your wealth, building a business, investing in real estate, all the kind of things that I've been able to accomplish and be successful at in life. I teach you all those things there in a very compact format, plus a huge community of men. If you want to become a strong man, you have to be around strong men. So go check it out, $7. All right. Now, what I was going to say about this is that in relationships, in longer term relationships like marriages, your girlfriend or your wife isn't having sex with you. The problem is usually that you are trying to negotiate for sex. See, sex has to be a non-negotiable, right? What does my buddy Rollo Tomassi said? He said that desire is non-negotiable. Okay. By the way, if you haven't checked out his book, Rational Male, you need to check that out. In fact, it's so funny. A lot of you guys read Rational Male and then you become irrational. I don't understand it because see, this is just the nature of women. You cannot respond to these things in an emotional sense. You have to just take it as it is. It is what it is, right? I want to know the truth because it's the truth. Okay. The truth does not personally offend me. It doesn't upset me. It's not malicious. It's not targeted at me. It's not unfair. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. And so the truth is, it is what it is. Okay. So don't get upset about the truth. All right. So again, a lot of you guys that are in relationships, what's happening is that you're trying to negotiate yourself, right? You're basically allowing or asking sex to be used as a weapon against you because you're saying, well, if I do this, if I do these things, if I do the dishes, if I pick up the kids from daycare, whatever it is, buy her flowers, then she'll want to have sex with me. And the answer is no, she will not. She will potentially do it as a negotiated transaction, but it's not going to be enthusiastic, right? Because you have to have genuine desire. And the way you have genuine desire is by being a man that's on his mission, on his purpose in life, and is focused on that and doesn't allow these things, isn't trying to gain approval, isn't being needy, right? The same kind of attributes that I tell you guys as single guys going after women, it's the same kind of attributes you must maintain in a relationship. In fact, even stronger so. You have to be independent in the sense that you are not going to be controlled, right? It's so tempting. I was just talking to a guy that I was doing a coaching call with, and he was having this problem with his girlfriend. He was trying to communicate it to me, and he was having a hard time communicating it because it's embarrassing, guys. I know it is. Okay. I've been in this situation before as well. And he was trying to communicate that his girlfriend really wasn't showing very much desire for him, wasn't really having sex with him anymore. And, and I started asking him about, what happens, what does he do? And I knew what the pattern was, right? He didn't even have to say it. I was like, well, okay. So, you get into some kind of discussion with her and you step on you're walking on eggshells. Okay. So what he would do is he would get into this discussion and he would disagree with her, or she'd do some kind of disrespectful behavior towards him and he wouldn't call it out. He wouldn't say anything because guys are peacemakers, right? It's a very beta quality that a lot of guys have. It's kind of built into human nature. You have to kind of rule it out of yourself, which is being a peacemaker, trying to keep things at peace, right? Women want chaos and emotion and all this stuff. Men generally want peace. Okay. But you cannot be addicted to peace. You have to be willing to create a disruption. So what would happen is that his girlfriend would say something disrespectful and he would just let it slide instead of saying, hey, don't talk to me like that. Right? Or that's not acceptable because he doesn't want to rock the boat. So then he would get upset and he would be resentful and he would be trying to show her how upset and how hurt he is over time. And then, comes down to the bedroom, she doesn't want to have sex with him. She doesn't want to have sex with some kind of whiny, baby that's like, he's got his little feelings hurt, right? So then he's like rolling over in bed and making the noise, right? Have you guys been there? And I know some of you have been there, okay? And then he's more upset because she's not having sex with him, and she's losing so much attraction for him this whole time. So again, this is the same type of thing, right? In this case, how is sex being used as a weapon? It's using very, very covertly, and you're basically causing it to be used against yourself, because what you're doing in that case is that you are walking on eggshells, right? So the whole mindset of these guys that are in relationships, and again, I'm not blaming them in the sense that, it is their fault, but they don't know any better, because I was in this situation before. A lot of you guys have been in this situation before. Some of you are still in this situation, but the mindset here is that I can't do things wrong. Like if I upset her, then she's not going to want to have sex. So I have to walk on the eggshells, keep the missus happy, so that when it comes down to 9 o'clock tonight, I can tap her on the shoulder and, and do my thing. You got to get rid of that. You got to take that completely out of your head. You got to say, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I say something that rocks the boat. Okay. Because if I rock the boat, that's fine. I'm a man. I can handle it. If it means that I'm not going to, quote, get sex tonight, fuck it. Big deal. All right. And if it goes on for long enough, then I'll just find somewhere else. I'm not going to accept this kind of behavior. So you have to really, truly have that mindset. If you don't truly have that mindset, okay, then of course sex is going to be used as a weapon against you. It's going to be, because it's a very effective weapon, because your girlfriend or your wife knows all she has to do is just hold this thing, this sex, over your head, and you will be a good boy. You're never going to reprimand her. You're never going to correct her behavior. You're never going to say anything. You're just going to walk on eggshells, okay, in order to keep the peace. Because if you disrupt the peace, you're going to lose the sex. And so that's the thing. That's the thing that you guys have to really understand, is that you cannot live that way. You have to be saying, okay, whatever happens, I don't care. And it's just a way to live your life, right? If you want to be a real man, okay, you have to live your life, accept the consequence. What do I say in the video? If you guys will watch the video, the 3 steps to become a man, or I might have it in the Bulldog Mindset membership. I've got some part of it in the Bulldog Mindset membership as well. If you, like I said, if you haven't signed up, go check it out. You're going to find that really useful. But what I say is that the last step of becoming a man is that you need to do what you want and accept the consequences for your actions, right? To live your life however you want and accept the consequence for your actions. So if you can't do that, you can't be a man. So if you are doing things because you're afraid of upsetting people, or not doing things, or not saying things, okay, now that doesn't mean not to have tact, okay? But if you're primarily trying to please people, be a nice guy, right? Again, the book, Nice Guy, go check it out. All right. If you're doing that, you're afraid to accept the consequences. So instead, what you need to do is you're going to say, you know what? I'm not going to hold back. Okay. I was just talking to someone the other day. I just said whatever I wanted to say. Now, I said it in a tactful way, but a lot of controversial subjects came up about politics, about things like that. And I explained my rationale. I talked about, but I did it in a tactful way. But the person that I was talking to was like, wait a minute. This is weird that you're saying it's like most people would not say this. They would not honestly answer these questions that I'm giving them, because they would know that I'm not going to like the answer, or they'd be afraid. And I said, I don't live my life that way. I literally, you could walk out the door, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I have something to lose from this interaction by you not liking me. I am going to say what I want to say. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to make the choices that I'm going to make in life. And if it causes people to not like me, or if it causes me to lose deals or to lose opportunities, so be it. That's fine. I accept the consequences, because the alternative is to not be your own man, is to be owned by someone else. Okay. Taking this back to using sex as a weapon, that's exactly what's happening. If you allow someone to use you, right, to hold something over you, if there's anything, if anyone has their hooks in you, right? I tell guys this all the time. Never let anyone get their hooks in you. Okay. That means that you're controlled, that you're a puppet. You're not a man. You are not acting of your own will. You're not sovereign. The primary attribute of a man is that he does what he wants. He gets what he wants. That's what I had classified as the alpha male. So if you can't do what you want, you're not a man. So what you have to do is you have to take the hooks out of you. You got to say, look, and how do you take the hooks out of you? Well, the way you take the hooks out of you is you say, I don't care what the consequences are for my actions. My actions, my principles, my integrity determines what I do. What my choices determines what I do. The consequences, they come or they don't. You do what you have to do, right? If it means that you're gonna kill me, you got to kill me then, right? It's like, I don't know. I'm pulling that from a movie. I'm sure you've seen a scene in a movie where the guy's like, yeah, you do what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do, you know? And it's like, well, I'm going to kill you then. Well, then you're going to do what you're going to do, right? Instead of cowering and begging for your life. Okay. So every time that you're letting a woman use sex as a weapon against you, it's like you're cowering and begging for your life. It's like you're saying, okay, I will succumb. I will not do what I want to do as a man because I'm so afraid of the consequence. I don't want to lose something. Right. And sometimes by living this way, guys, you're going to have consequences and they're not going to be good. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because I've chosen to live this way. Okay. I don't know if you saw, I've got a video here. I'll link to for when I got canceled on Twitter. Okay. Or canceled in the tech community with my Simple Programmer brand. Okay. Now, since then, I've relaunched my book and it was #1 bestseller. It's doing really well. Okay. I'm going to make a lot more money from that, but I lost at least maybe $500,000 in royalties from courses I had. I won't get into details, but I got the opportunity to apologize and recant what I said. And I said, no. I said, there's no way. It's going to cost you a lot of money. I don't care. I make the choices. I do what I'm going to do and I accept the consequences. So I know I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but it's really important. This is the underlying principle. So what should you do, guys, if a woman uses sex as a weapon against you? Simple. 1, show her the door. You don't accept that. You have a higher standard for yourself in life. 2, ignore it. Don't allow it to affect you at all. Just move on with your day. Move on. Do not respond to it. Do not negotiate. Just call it out if you need to. Hey, are you actually trying to use sex as a weapon? Same as when someone tries to blame you or guilt you or manipulate you. You always call it out. Always call out passive aggressive behavior and then ignore it. You don't respond to it. You don't negotiate it. None of that stuff.